You don't have to overthink anything. Once it comes to your mind, do it. Even if you make mistake, you will learn on it. Hey sis, you're welcome to today's episode. It's episode 15 of the Girl Learn This First series. I'm so excited to have you here today. I'm Adebusola, and today we'll be talking about trusting your inner voice, trusting your intuition. Maybe you have been second guessing yourself, over explaining, over apologizing. This episode is for you. I want to remind you that you're not crazy, you are intuitive, and it's time to start listening and trusting your inner voice. As always, we'll be doing quite a number of reading from our book Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. It's been an amazing read so far. The book keeps unfolding, opening up so much wisdom, and I really hope that you are learning, and as much as you can, try to get a copy for yourself. I cannot overemphasize it. Even for me that has read the whole thing, every time I open it up to prepare for these episodes, I don't want to leave the book. I don't want to put it down because I'm just learning so much, and it's a pleasure to be, bringing this to you. I really pray that you would take this wisdom and use it to improve not only your self-image, but your life generally. One of the things Dr. Maxwell said is, your subconscious is a success mechanism, and it works best when you trust it, not overthink it. This guy is a just keep it moving kind of person. Like, he tells you to just keep going. You don't have to overthink anything. Once it comes to your mind, do it. Even if you make mistake, you will learn on it. You will learn on the job. You will learn while practicing that habit. You don't have to be perfect. And that's something that personally has influenced me, because I'm that person that will overthink an idea, that would think, and in the end, I won't end up taking action because I have thought about it too much, and I have, just discarded it or looked at it like it can't work out. Meanwhile, I need to start and then begin to improve as I go. So my prayer is that you're able to learn all of these tools and, wisdom, and begin to practicalize it so that they become useful to us and help us to elevate. That's the whole essence of all of this. So today I'll be reading from page 19. And all of what I'm going to read today is just to show you that your mind is high tech. Your mind is correct. So you have to stop doubting yourself. You have to begin to trust your inner voice. You will see from everything we are going to read that your mind is well calculated. All you need to do is to allow it to serve you. Okay? Your mind is highly functional. Your brain is highly functional. And you need to trust it enough. And even when you make mistakes, learn from it and keep it moving. Okay, so I'm going to start from this section that says your built-in guidance system. Every living thing has a built-in guidance system or goal-striving device put there by its creator to help it achieve its goal, which is, in broad terms, to live. In simpler forms of life, the goal to live simply means physical survival for both the individual and the species. The built-in mechanism in animals is limited to finding food and shelter, avoiding or overcoming enemies and hazards, and procreation to ensure the survival of the species. In man, the goal to live means more than mere survival. For an animal, to live simply means that certain physical needs must be met. Man has certain emotional and spiritual needs that animals do not have. Consequently, for man, to live encompasses more than physical survival and procreation of the species. It requires certain emotional and spiritual satisfaction as well. Man's built-in success mechanism also is much broader in scope than an animal's. In addition to helping man avoid or overcome danger, as well as the sexual instinct which helps keep the race alive, the success mechanism in man can help him get answers to problems, invent, write poetry, run a business, sell merchandise, explore new horizons in science, attain more peace of mind, develop a better personality, or achieve success in any other activity that is intimately tied in to his living or makes for a fuller life. The success instinct. A squirrel does not have to be taught how to gather nuts, nor does it need to learn that it should store them for winter. A squirrel born in the spring has never experienced winter, yet in the fall of that year, it can be observed busily storing nuts to be eaten during the winter months, when there will be no food to be gathered. A bird does not need to take lessons in nest building, nor does it need to take courses in navigation. Yet, birds do navigate thousands of miles, sometimes over open sea. They have no newspapers or TV to give them weather reports, no books written by explorer or prisoner birds to map out for them the warm areas of the earth. Nonetheless, the bird knows when cold weather is imminent and the exact location of a warm climate, even though it may be thousands of miles away. In attempting to explain such things, we usually say that animals have certain instincts that guide them. Analyze all such instincts and you'll find they assist the animal to successfully cope with its environment. In short, animals have a success instinct. We often overlook the fact that man too has a success instinct, much more marvelous and much more complex than that of many animals. Our Creator did not shortchange man. On the other hand, man was especially blessed in this regard. Animals cannot select their goals. Their goals, self-preservation and procreation, are presets, so to speak. And their success mechanism is limited to these built-in goal images, which we call instincts. Man, on the other hand, has something animals don't: creative imagination. Thus, man of all creatures is more than a creature, he is a creator. With his imagination, he can formulate a variety of goals. Man alone can direct his success mechanism by the use of imagination or imaging ability. So can you see that you are built in, wired to succeed? I want to stop there and go into psycho-cybernetics, a new concept of how your brain works. When we conceive of the human brain and nervous system as a form of servo mechanism operating in accordance with cybernetic principles, we gain a new insight into the why and wherefore of human behavior. I choose to call this new concept psycho-cybernetics, the principle of cybernetics as applied to the human brain. I must repeat, psycho-cybernetics does not say that man is a machine. Rather, it says that man has a machine that he uses. Let us examine some of the similarities between the mechanical servo mechanisms and the human brain. Two general types of servo mechanisms. Servo mechanisms are divided into two general types. One, where the target's goal or answer is known and the objective is to reach it or accomplish it. And two, where the target or answer is not known and the objective is to discover or locate it. The human brain and nervous system operates in both ways. An example of the first type is the self-guided torpedo or the interceptor missile. The target or goal is known, an enemy ship or plane. The objective is to reach it. Such machines must know the target they are shooting for. They must have some sort of propulsion system that propels them forward in the general direction of the target. They must be equipped with sense organs, radar, sonar, heat, perceptors, which bring information from the target. These sense organs keep the machine informed when it is on the correct course, positive feedback, and when it commits an error and gets off course, negative feedback. The machine does not react or respond to positive feedback. It is doing the correct thing already and just keeps on doing what it is doing. There must be a corrective device, however, that will respond to the negative feedback. When negative feedback informs the mechanism that it is off the beam too far to the right, the corrective mechanism automatically causes the rudder to move so that it will steer the machine back to the left. If it overcorrects and heads too far to the left, this mistake is made known through negative feedback and the corrective device moves the rudder so it will steer the machine back to the right. The torpedo accomplishes its goal by going forward, making errors, and continually correcting them. By a series of zigzags, it literally gropes its way to the goal. Dr. Norbert Wiener, who pioneered the development of goal-seeking mechanisms in World War II, believes that something very similar to the foregoing happens in the human nervous system whenever you perform a purposeful activity. Even in such simple goal-seeking situation as picking up a pen from a desk, we are able to accomplish the goal of picking up the pen because of an automatic mechanism and not by will and forebrain thinking alone. All that the forebrain does is to select the goal, trigger it into action by desire, and feed information to the automatic mechanism so that your hand continually corrects its course. In the first place, said Dr. Wiener, only an anatomist would know all the muscles involved in picking up the pen. And if you knew, you would not consciously say to yourself, I must contract my shoulder muscles to elevate my arm. Now I must contract my biceps to extend my arm, etc. You just go ahead and pick up the pen and are not conscious of issuing orders to individual muscles or of computing just how much contraction is needed. When you select the goal and trigger it into action, an automatic mechanism takes over. First of all, you have picked up the pen or performed similar movements before. Your automatic mechanism has learned something of the correct response needed. Next, your automatic mechanism uses feedback data furnished to the brain by your eyes, which tells it the degree to which the pen is not picked up. This feedback data enables the automatic mechanism to continually correct the motion of your hand until it is steered to the pen. For a baby just learning to use its muscles, the correction of the hand in reaching for a rattle is very obvious. The baby has little stored information to draw upon. Its hand zigzags back and forth, and groups obviously as it reaches. It is characteristic of all learning that as learning takes place, correction becomes more and more refined. We see this in a person just learning to drive a car who overcorrects and zigzags back and forth across the street. Once, however, a correct or successful response has been accomplished, it is remembered for future use. The automatic mechanism then duplicates this successful response on future trials. It has learned how to respond successfully. It forgets its failures and repeats the successful action without any further conscious thought. That is as a habit. And this is so true. So you need to start trusting your inner voice. Because as you can see, your brain is so wired. It's highly functional. And this is something that also affects our self-confidence. You know, many of us feel like, you cannot start doing something because you don't feel very confident about it. But you need to get started so that you can then begin to remember the times that you got it right and duplicate that action of getting it right and junking the failures. And by the time you do something right over and over again, you become a master. And that's how you become confident about whatever it is you're doing. Now, let us suppose that the room is dark so that you cannot see the pen. You know or hope there is a pen on the table, along with a variety of other objects. Instinctively, your hand will begin to grope back and forth, performing zigzag motions or scanning, rejecting one object after another until the pen is found and recognized. This is an example of the second type of servo mechanism. Recalling a name temporarily forgotten is another example. A scanner in your brain scans back through your stored memories until the correct name is recognized. A computer solves problems in much the same way. First of all, a great deal of data must be fed into the machine. This stored or recorded information is the machine's memory. A problem is posed to the machine. It scans back through its memory until it locates the only answer that is consistent with and meets all the conditions of the problem. Problem and answer together constitute a whole situation or structure. When part of the situation or structure, which is the problem, is given to the machine, it locates the only missing parts or the right size brick, so to speak, to complete the structure. The more that is learned about the human brain, the more closely it resembles, insofar as function is concerned, a servo mechanism. For example, Dr. Wilder, who was the director of the Montreal Neurological Institute, reported at a meeting of the National Academy of Sciences that he had discovered a recording mechanism in a small area of the brain that apparently faithfully records everything that a person has ever experienced, observed, or learned. During a brain operation in which the patient was fully awake, Dr. Penfield happened to touch a small area of the cortex with a surgical instrument. At once, the patient exclaimed that she was reliving an incident from her childhood which she had consciously forgotten. Further experiments along this line brought the same results. When certain areas of the cortex were touched, patients did not merely remember past experiences, they relived them, experiencing as very real all the sights, sounds, and sensations of the original experience. It was just as if past experiences had been recorded on a tape recorder and played back. It is still a mystery how a mechanism as small as the human brain can store such a vast amount of information. British neurophysicist W. Gray Walter had said that at least 10 billion electronic cells would be needed to build a facsimile of man's brain. These cells would occupy about 1.5 million cubic feet, and several additional millions of cubic feet would be needed for the nerves or wiring. Power required to operate it would be 1 billion watts. Wow. This is incredible. Our God is awesome. I like the part where it says everything has a built-in guidance system or goal-striving device put there by its creator to help it achieve its goal, which is in broad terms to live. So God wired you in a way that you will be able to live well. You just need to dig into it. You need to trust your inner voice. You need to trust your instinct. Enough of waiting for people to validate you. Enough of waiting for people to, believe in you. You need to believe in yourself. And if you're a girl looking to go into relationship, you see why it is important to discover all of this first before you join yourself to somebody, forever. It's important to trust yourself, trust your inner voice, trust your instinct, so that when you meet the guy, you will know if he is the one, if he's suitable. I normally put it now as fit for purpose. You want to know if it's fit for purpose. You don't want to have like a digital ministry and you're ending up with a man who doesn't believe in online, who will be telling you, what are you doing on your computer? Why are you pressing computer? You want to trust your inner voice. You want to trust your instinct and be able to, be alive, read all the signs, see all the red flags. So many times people know in their hearts that, they are making a mistake, but they are not sure because they haven't trained themselves to trust their instinct. So I'm really, really rooting for you and believing God for you that you will get to that point where you know for certain who it is God is preparing for you before you say I do. Trusting your inner voice is God's gift to you. As we can see from what we read, God already wired you perfectly. So you need to begin to trust your, and I don't know, many of us have been in that position where you'll be like, I felt it though. I knew that there was something about that guy. I just couldn't place my finger on it. I'm sure you've been in that position, right? But we still go ahead and fall into the danger because we didn't trust our instinct. I pray that, from now, begin to trust our inner voice, begin to trust our instincts. Plus, if you are a born-again Christian who has received the love of God, you have the spirit advantage that will begin to make use of this advantage. Okay? So today's journal prompt is, when was the last time I ignored my inner voice and what did it cost me? You need to write that down. And what would trusting it have changed? Yes, we're holding ourselves accountable. So you do that inner work. Get your journal. I hope you've gotten my journal by now. You should have. It's in the link in description. Make sure you get it. Do this inner work and let us become her. And when we say become her, we want to become the best version of ourselves. We want to step into the next level. We want to become that person that God has called us to be. And we need to go through all of this. Even though it may be zigzag, you could see it doesn't have to be a straight line. Even though it may be zigzag, but we are going there. One of the things I used to tell myself I learned from Forex, there was a time I used to trade, and I just used to look at, the way the charts were always going up and down. But when you zoom out, you'll be able to tell if it's an upward trend or a downward trend. But even though the market is in an upward trend, it can still be having its, dips, high and low, high and low, high and low. But it's on an upward trend. And that was so profound for me. So I tell myself, I'm on an upward trend. It doesn't matter how, I go high and low. But that thing that is going to shoot me up is coming soon. I'm on an upward trend. And that is what I want for every one of us, that would continue to go higher and higher till we become the full version of who God has made us to be. I pray that you will marry that man that will help you to fulfill purpose, not the one that would help you to see it as nothing, not the one that would condemn it, but the one that will jack you up and help you in fulfilling your purpose. That's what I pray for you. And I want to invite you to receiving the love of God in Christ if you have not. I've said all of these things that we're learning is good, it's beautiful, but there is the God identity that we must begin to carry. And I love that this book is talking about self-image. But the truth is that our authentic identity is in Christ Jesus. And I'm willing to walk with you through this journey. I'm willing to share my knowledge, introduce you to the love of God in Christ. If that is you, send me a DM. You would find my other social media channels in the description box. Reach out to me and get into this, this revelation of God. Let me tell you, God is your creator. So don't even get it twisted. He is your creator. And He loves you. He wants you to live in your authentic self. And I pray that, your life will continue to advance as you make this decision. Thank you very much for watching. Please share this video with any other girly in your circle that needs to hear this. Share it with them and leave in the comment section, I trust my inner voice. She's been right all along. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Love you so much. Bye.